Alright, so this is a video that I've really been waiting for it to happen. Now, the reason why this is something that I wanted to happen is because the Boss King, like the Boss King battle, literally is one of the hardest things that will come to global, which, as you can see in the title and thumbnail, it's announced. You can see right here, there's a video from the actual, the Twitter. Let me mute that real quick. The Twitter account that actually shows that, he is coming out. So he is finally coming, the boss battle, I think next week. By I guess the next update. So this king boss battle is actually insanely hard. So there are going to be three different versions of it. There's going to be hard, extreme, and hell, I believe. It should be like that. I think that's how it's set up for it. Yeah, hard, extreme, and hell. So once that comes out, I'm telling you guys, this is going to be very tough. So the one thing I do want to talk about is going to be the teams and what you can do for it, as well as like how to prepare for this, actual boss battle. But one thing I also want to talk about is, assuming what's going to happen, Escanor should drop from this tweet right here. This tweet shows obviously green Escanor with the sunshine. He should be coming out soon as well. And the good thing about that is Escanor is going to be a really good unit against this king boss battle, just because of how much damage Escanor can do. And his ultimate is just really good to use for that, because he's basically going to nuke king. Basically, that's how it's going to go with him. Or you can use units that also can nuke, like Jericho, which if you guys haven't checked out my video before for the King video, then you guys need to check that out as well if you guys want to do that. But we're going to talk about the actual unit itself and like what's going to come with it and what to expect from it. So the first thing to know is that he is going to be a blue type unit. So you need to have green type units that are going to be really strong. And the only difference that you need to do with like a red type, for example, like the only thing you would want to use is going to be like Gother. So as you know, Gother and just Gother himself because of the rank ups, obviously that's the reason why you would want to use him. He is one of the units you would want to use because of his rank ups. So, and he's good for defense as well. Like he can actually handle himself pretty well. But the only other unit that you would want to use out of the red type units would be the SR Elizabeth, which is this one right here. The reason why is because her passive. So this unit's going to be in your 4th slot, which is a sub slot of your team. She's going to heal all allies for 10% of max HP at the start of the next turn when taking damage. So obviously you're going to take damage. So she's going to heal you up every turn. So she is the 4th slot unit that you will keep in your team. So that's all you're going to use her for. Really, that's really all that is for her. But if you need to use her whenever she gets into the playing field, you can use her second skill because it's going to basically heal your HP, which is really good. So that unit's out the way, and Gother's already out the way. That's mainly the ones that I would want to talk about. But for talking about what is good, you would want 2 units that are going to do your most damage, right? So whenever you go to the actual setup, right, this is the key team heroes that you can use for the actual king boss battle, right? So you want to have green type units, obviously, because you are going to be fighting a blue type unit. So only reason you see Gother there is because obviously he does the rank ups. So the thing about this, now this is where Meli Otis can be very helpful, and a lot of people probably dropped him by now, but a lot of people I know have already level 70 him, 6-star, and etc, right? So this unit itself, he does a lot of damage, and that's what he's going to be there for. Especially against King, this unit, he will be doing 600% damage on his first skill attack as a rank 3, and then his main thing is going to be his full counter. So you want to have this, Meli Otis lower on HP, and then do his full counter on the first phase, because there's 2 phases to the King. You want to do your full counter on the first phase, and then take his health out really fast, because the second phase is actually harder, because I believe the second phase takes out I think like stances and stuff. So that'd be really annoying. But you can see right here, he's immune to stun, petrify, and freeze. So you can't use anyone that can do any of those things, which is annoying. So the only thing, I might not know exactly if this is true or not, but when you ult with Meli Otis, for example, his attack stuns, right? So I'm not too sure how this is gonna go with that being able to be immune to it. So I don't think you can actually stun him. But the cool thing is that you should be able to cancel his buffs and stances, which King buffs himself up a lot. That's why he does a lot of damage. So you have to know how to take him away from his buffs. So just use a unit that can take away buffs and stances. So whenever what it says is ultimate move reduction skills are recommended, right? And that's where Elaine comes in. So Elaine right here, this is why I said Elaine would be really good for this. Now you don't have to use her if you really don't want to, but you can if you are trying to play this smart and actually go through beating this, as a normal, proper way. The reason why is because this unit itself can decrease skill ranks, and she also depletes ultimate gauge orbs by the number of skill ranks she decreases, right? So then her second skill, she also depletes ultimate gauge orbs. So you just want to avoid getting ulted by King, because King is going to literally do insane damage. So having a unit like this that can take away ultimate gauges is really good. As well as she also cancels buffs and stances, which is even better. So that's why Elaine is actually really good for this raid, and she came out in JP when the King boss battle came out too. So it's perfect that she's already out in global, which is really helpful to us, so it's good to know. Now obviously, as you know, you have Merlin. Merlin's just good because she takes away ultimate gauge orbs, and she does some pretty decent damage, honestly. And her passive obviously gives you an extra ultimate gauge orb at the start of battle, so you're going to be getting closer to your ultimate as fast as possible. So you have a unit like this, for example, Merlin, and then you have Jericho, which is going to do the nuke as well, because this right here is a spike, right? So her spike is a 2x crit damage increase. So she's insane, and I have her 6/6, so she's gonna do over 960% damage when she is with Gila. So I'm really happy about that. Once I do get the chance to show that, I will show it. But that's one unit obviously who's really good for that. But when we talk about the difficulty, this is where you guys will really struggle. Now, I did say earlier on in the video I made for King before that you need at least 140,000 CC because you want to at least do extreme, because you don't want to bottleneck it, right? You don't want to be like at 130k CC and then do extreme, because you could possibly finish it, but you could lose a lot. So just be careful when you go against it. So the recommended for hell is 150,000. Now the thing is, this is going to be very difficult, right? So you have to know that. So this final boss king takes reduced damage from counters and ultimate moves. So he takes reduced damage, so I guess he doesn't take as much damage as he would, I guess that's what it means. So from counters and ultimate moves. So I guess Meli Otis is gonna be tough for this. You can try it. Now I don't know how this is gonna go for the hell part, but we'll see. I guess this is basically making you use a team that can just take away ultimate move gauge orbs and slowly take away King's health. So we'll see when he comes out, and we'll just try it out once that's possible. But basically what you're gonna be able to do is when you clear these stages, you'll get these coins, right, that can be exchanged for rewards. So when you go down here, right, you'll see what you can exchange for the materials. You can get chalices, chests, you can get the horns, ears, etc., awakening stones, and anvils, which is really cool. The only thing I don't like here is, if you guys have played JP and you guys played the Meli Otis and Elizabeth super boss battle, there was a ranking system that they had done. I actually liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. But if you didn't rank really high, then you wouldn't get those rewards, right? So for example, right here, it seems like if you do a top 5%, you'll get awakening stones and anvils. But the cool thing is that once you're at the top 5%, you'll get everything that's right below it as well. So anything in the 15%, 30, and so on, you'll get all of it. So if you're shooting for top 5%, you're guaranteed all those items, which is really cool. But it's just you have to score really high. So the only way to score really high is doing a lot of damage, right? And less turns. So this is where nukers like Jericho come in, or if this is what's going to actually happen, Escanor. So Escanor is going to be one of the hardest hitting units for this, because Escanor obviously is a green type unit and King is a blue type unit. But this unit is just good because, one, he does a lot of damage from his the first skill attack, and he also fills his ultimate gauge orb. So you're basically focused on getting this unit's ultimate up much faster because he just nukes, right? He does a lot of damage with his attacks, so it's really good if you have him. And if he does come out next week, which it seems like it's likely, and the King boss battle comes out as well, then basically what that means is that you will be able to have this unit on your team and use him, and you will probably finish King really well. Like you will fight the boss battle really well. So he's good for that because of his ultimate, and then his second skill. Now the thing is, it's gonna remove buffs. So when JP first came out, right, for the boss battle, this Escanor was not there, so it was much harder. But later on, when he came back again, Escanor just demolishes this really fast. And the removing buffs is really good because King, like I said earlier in the video, he buffs himself up for his attack and defense. So he's just going to be really annoying to go against. So removing buffs would be really good. So if Escanor does come out, this is a must-have unit in general. And he's gonna be good for the boss battle. So you can see like his unit rating is really high for PvP, ungeared, and passive use, because his passive is really good and stuff like that. So his passive removes buffs and debuffs, and when the hero's ultimate move gauge is completely filled, grants debuff immunity. So you can't debuff him. so he's really good for that. So really good units to see if this possibly does come out sometime next week. I would summon for him 100%. The unit to have, I would probably re-roll for him too, in my opinion, because that's just how good this unit is. So gonna go ahead and close that out. Meli Otis, if we go back to him as well, he's good. Like I said, you can try him. He should do really well as well, especially on extreme. I don't know about hell, because hell might be a little too much for him. But he increases crit chance by the ratio the hero's diminished HP when using a skill. So the less HP he has and the full counter he does, the more damage he will do from that. So you can technically like somewhat, I guess, nuke with that if you put it in like simple terms. In a way, nuking with full counter, but I mean that's just how much damage you really do. It just depends on how low your HP is. So that can be very annoying, because King can probably kill Meli Otis really fast if that happens. So yeah. So far, I mean, teams that you can really run, this is really what you want to look at. You can run different teams if you're going to be based off of counters. So it's really good that this website, this right here, GC database, has a full set to talk about it. So it shows like how what kind of teams you can run. So I'll leave it in the description below if you guys want to check it out for yourself. But basically, if you want to pray to RNG, you can use a Meli Otis, Gother, and plus any squishy unit. So any kind of unit that can be very helpful to you in some way, you can use it that way. So ultimate gauge removal plus counter, this is the team you would want to use. Like I said, Elaine removes ultimate gauges and she can decrease skill ranks, which is really good. Merlin takes away ultimate gauge orbs, really good. Counter centered, you want to get his Meli Otis' 3-star full counter fast, so the Gother is there to rank it up. Sustain plus ultimate gauge removal would be this team. So this is like a long-term fight if you want to do it this way, because Elizabeth is a healer. So she is in the coin shop right now, right? That's the wrong one. I guess that's the wrong one. I don't know why that's put. Okay, yeah, that is the wrong one, but that's really weird. So it is the red one, but you can use the green one as well if you really wanted to. But I wouldn't really use her too much. I would rather use the red one just because of how her passive works. So it's really good for that. But up to you and how you want to do it. And then obviously the counters. Now you can use these other these other two units. The reason why you can use these two units is because Alioni, his passive gives green type units a 10% boost, right? So it's an extra attack related stats boost for 10%, which can be helpful. So you can keep them in the 4th slot. I think, what's her name? Jillian? Jillian is an increased HP attributes allies HP. Okay, so HP attribute allies HP by 30%. So that's basically for units that are gonna heal back up and just last a little bit longer for fights. So she'd be good more for sustain plus ultimate gauge removal fights. Seems like. So you can run this if you really wanted to. So definitely do that if possible. From there, I think that's pretty much all you could really run. Other than that, I mean, you can switch units out if you really wanted to, but I don't think you really. I think that's a really good team to use, because other units that you can use would be like Bon. The thing is about Bon is that he probably will die really fast. Like you can't use his extort, because King is just going to use his buffs back up, so it can be annoying. Now his AoE could be helpful because it can lifesteal, and since he's really good for lasting really long fights, because of basically he's self-sufficient. He gets his HP back up every time he attacks with his 3-star or 2-star skill, right? After he does his extort, he's basically just working on his own to heal himself and just fight. So you can use units like that, but I don't think it's gonna be too worth it out of there. I think Bon is like just another squish unit, for example. Out of all these units though in here, I don't think there's gonna be anyone that's gonna be too helpful that's already in not JP global, other than if Escanor comes out, and I would say Jericho for like hard hitters, or Meli Otis. That's pretty much it. The other ones, they're just more for like using them, take away ultimate moves and stuff like that. So that's basically it. I mean, if you guys want to prepare for it, just make sure that you have really good gear, because for gear you're gonna be very annoyed by it because of how much you need for CC. Extreme is at 130, and then this is at 150, so just know that. And that's the costume you should be able to get, hopefully, once it comes out. But that's pretty much it. If you guys need any other help, let me know in the comments below. If you guys need team setups, let me know on Twitter or Discord, and I'll try to help you guys out there as well. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy, drop a like, subscribe if you guys are brand new, and yeah, this is gonna do it for today's video, guys. Have a great day.